Gentlemans, welcome back to the shop. Never fails, but you go to the lumberyard store, you see some fancy new goo-gaw. I don't know what it's for, but god damn it, I need it. This dude jigger, what's your call it? The spinema thing with the receptacle tip, rather changeable tip for curling your toes. You will not find this in your wife's bedside table. However, you might find it in your buddy's. Tool what does everything ain't no good for anything. In this case, it's fantastic what for making fun of. What kind of a moron would buy such a tool? Gotta run some Lumex for a fancy dancy hair shaving, you know, on the legs, light in the niche there. Every 12 volt LED. And gotta get into the wall, up and over. Got no room for nothing, of course. Well, yeah. Unforeseen turn of events, the problem was between the steering wheel and the driver's seat. A sticker in bull low. As so frequently happens when casting a disparaging eye, and I'm absolutely certain this is pure, unadulterated garbage, turns out I just wasn't looking at it from the right angulation. This thing is fantastic! Look at how close that is. You get right in those dirty, greasy nooks. Couple half dozen things you're gonna hate, one or two you're gonna love. We'll go over. Fellow is gonna admonish me for having a high quality M2 HSS tool steel twist drill bedecked in drywall dust. Partner, when you're arsed to ream a bung, you gotta run what you brung. Now this is a screwdriver, not an impact, so it rotates, there's no impacting. Not nearly as quick as a driver. The chuck is 3/8, so 10 millimeter. You like to see a 1/2 inch chuck because, you know, you just need a slightly larger hole and you gotta go grab a different tool. I've been using the hell out of this 90-degree one for getting into cabinetry. You know, some jackass invariably puts a screw where you can't get at it and then promptly strips it. Listen, this real tight clearance one, I haven't used it yet, haven't needed to. I've been getting away with the 90-degree, but this guy, you know damn well, if you didn't have it, you'd need it. Now, I fully acknowledge using it before taking it apart is a crime against teardowns everywhere, as admonished by the illustrious Dave Jones of the EEB blog. Don't take it apart, take it something. However, you married men in the crowd, I bet you that's an M10, will recognize sometimes it's easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. Yeah, my kingdom for an M10. No, a Torx 10. Had to get digging through my drawers to find my going to town bit. They're expensive, but at least you can find the Jesus things. The cheap ones seem to go missing quite a bit easier. I'm sure there's a bit of human psychology involved there, huh? Have a gander at this. What you make of it? See the fasteners all shiny on the end. Now either the coating is crap, which you see, they're coated all the way through. They didn't just dip the head of her in. They're coated on the end too. So that means that coating wore off. And they are tricoidal, as you can see, because they're still black here and they're shiny here. So that is reaming its own hole, or rather it's threading its own hole in the casement. So this casement has either got to be very good plastic or lots of glass fiber in there in order to wear that coating off. We haven't seen that before. I wonder if the holes are too tight. And it's fucked. On the plus side, I found the correct screw on account of that shininess in the graveyard of fasteners under the workbench. We're in. Well, it's brushless. Ah. The first clue. It's a fuel. So that's why they're trying to make it as compact as possible, and all of the control is in this dingus end, what hits everything. I would much prefer, however, from this tactile switch, which is just affixed to a board. Wow. I would much prefer to have an actual ka-chunk switch here on the trigger. It's just every other tool has that, and you get a kind of muscle memory. So now when you want to reverse, you got to think about it, and then you don't know which direction it's going, if it actually changed direction. Yeah, very tight design. It's all wrapped in there. Yeah, you know, you see some of the wires are pinched. Oh, that is... There's not much room in there. Taking care to make this as compact as possible is witnessed by the light pipes for the LED indicators. Here's the main light for shining in your eyes, and here's the battery indicator light with a light pipe on the side. So these LEDs actually light up the side of the light pipe, I believe, and then shoot out to where you can see them. Let's just have a quick boo. They shine out directly from the board, and they have to go around a 90-degree turn to actually get in the indicator. Well, that's what that light pipe's for. Here's the motor field, tiny little bearing on the back side of this, and the Hall effect sensor board goes into the brain box. You see the brain box has a nice heat sink, just aluminum, punched out. If anything's going to crap out, it's going to be these brain boards. Seems to be pretty much invariably the failure mode. Small little bearing on the front side of the rotor as well. See if we can't pull that through. The motor rotor, 4 poles, 4 DC magnets in there. You'll note there's no balancing marks where they've taken material off in order to dynamically balance this. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they've decided that they don't need to in order to make the warranty timeline, and it eventually just rattles itself to death. Slightly more premature, you know, cost benefit, right? These guys are building stuff down to a price. Here's the trigger switch, no bellows, no ka-chunk. This would have a potentiometer on it that feeds back into the brain box. But look, and it's a no-name switch. There is, well, there's not a physical lock for the neutral, but there is a forward-reverse action built in, what's not being used. Here's the gearbox, plastic gearlocks, nylon, PA66, and 50% glass fiber reinforced. I saw it on here, so yeah, there we go. 50% glass fiber reinforced. Focus, you fuck. Yeah, high quality nylon. Don't really want to take this apart, but because I'm never sure if I can get them back together. However, for the sake of clarity, I guess we oughter. I just hope nothing goes springing. Or rather, plan for the worst. Everything will go springing, but we'll manage to find every single piece. And that is under spring tension. Okay, so here we have the clutch mechanism for giving you more or less torque. And here, a little copper-coated steel spring. And that is the detent for the clutch mechanism. It's got quite a nice, robust, snappy selector switch. I'm not sure how this works, but we'll keep building up clues. We'll keep taking it apart, and we'll figure it out eventually. This is threaded into the casement. This plastic, white plastic nut is threaded into the casement. And it's reverse thread. And as you turn it in, that would increase the spring tension. And the springs bear on this little plate. Okay, oh, and another clue, we have these pins in the gearbox. So what does that do? Just like peeling an onion, layer after stinky layer, till all you're left with is tears and bits of onion. There's some pins we're going to pop out, and I believe I should be able to split the case. Maybe a little gravity assist here. Okay. Nothing novel here. It's essentially a drill chuck. We have these pins bearing on these roller balls, well, these hardened steel balls, and they have to overcome, they bear on the outer race of this planetary gear set, and when they have to overcome this ramp, that puts the gearbox in neutral, and then it's got some space to run before it comes up against the other stop. So essentially what you're doing is you're up and over into neutral, and then it's not doing anything until the ball, it's not transmitting any torque until the ball hits up against this ramp. And if there's too much torque, it overcomes the spring tension, pushes up and over the ramp, sends this into neutral. You don't get any torque throughput. So that is how the clutch is working. And then the speed controller, the transmission here, slow or go, it just controls this outer ring on the primary side, while on the input side of these stacked planetary gear sets, and you'd engage or disengage a ring gear in order to get more or less speed out of it, more or less torque. More torque, less speed, more speed, less torque. I'll get her back together to make sure I mess something up, and then I'll take her back. What was that? Come on, Schwartz. Just a wiggle. Just a wiggle. Yeah, I don't remember it being like that. Handling this chintzy little directional switch, it ain't no good at all. It has been recessed, so you can't accidentally hit it, but it's recessed, so it makes it more of a pain to actuate. It just, yeah. No. You know, I slag on Milwaukee a lot. Just mainly what irks me is the tribal, you know, fellas getting the Milwaukee tattoo. Come on, it makes me sick up in my mouth a little bit. So I'll take a piss out of that, but they did a real nice job optimizing the design for this. It's super tight, but it all goes together good. That means that they've taken some conscious effort for ease of assembly, and ease of assembly means you're less likely to get a crib death because somebody pinched a wire or something. It doesn't take much to get to 80%, but to get that last 20% or that last 1% takes so much effort. And they've actually put some good effort into this, except for that Jesus tactile switch. Christ. Oh. Beauty. Oh. Ha, beauty. Goofy looking. Got the look of one of them Festool installation $800 tools. You know what? Ew. That doesn't sound right. Oh, that's better. Just needed to wear in. I'm going to show you the best part. What kind of a sadist car painter or cabinet maker puts fasteners where you can't get to it behind all kinds of plumbing and so forth? It's almost like they put the cabinets in before everything else. You too can be a cabinet maker. Get on your knees. Bend over. Here it comes. Oh, yeah, almost there. Done. Oh, wait. Time!